Hey Ranger Nation, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Save Our Shores, which is episode 2 of season 2 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. And if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. Without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. For this episode, I had mixed feelings, which I'll explain kind of later on. We open up on the gym where Blaze is now teaching karate and he's finished for the day. He joins the other Rangers and says that when he teaches karate, time just kind of escapes him, but he asks where Roxy is. Everyone says that she's got a new job, and all of a sudden, her job comes up on TV at Colin Industries, which I generally kind of thought was more like to do with Time Force, but that's where Roxy is working, and they've said that there is a huge, massive garbage spill on this beach. So the Rangers decide to go and help Roxy. They turn up, she seems surprised, and they all kind of grab bags from Roxy to start putting the trash in because there's a lot of it all over. Ben and Betty turn up as well, and this kind of, they added in the comedy element where they thought that they were meant to be kind of going on a beach day, like swimming and relaxing, so they turn up in that kind of a way. But you think that the Colonel would have turned around and said, hey, you're going to come help, not just go, you're going on a beach day. So they've put this sort of sunscreen on, but they find out that it's actually glue and it doesn't work. They get stuck together. They decide to jump in the trash so that they can collect more of it, which just wouldn't work. At this point, the Rangers are kind of alerted that this turtle has been kind of hurt, it's got trash on it, and they get pulled away. This isn't too bad because they start talking about sending the turtle to a marine center, like a marine hospital, so that the turtle could easily get some help. With this, Zoe has mentioned that she worked over the summer there, and that's how she knew. So they take the turtle all the way to the marine center. We come to this new cyber dimension. I don't know if Trapatron has been created by Scrozzle first, but we get a person that teleports in, that is the mayor, because you can see his hand. Now we know that the mayor is Evox in disguise. I kind of really wish they led this on until a little bit later on as a big reveal, rather than the Hasbro thing, which we'll talk about at a later date. Evox says that he needs new generals, and this is where Scrozzle says, I know the perfect thing, and therefore we jump into a scene back at the medical center, or the Marine Medical Center. With this, they mentioned that they need a lot more money to keep things running, otherwise things aren't going to work out, that they don't have enough money. They mentioned that they need money to give to the Marine Center because it was all Colin Industries' fault that trash was washed up on the beach. But Regina's like, well, no, how do we know that those animals weren't hurt originally? How do we know that, it's someone else's fault? And then says like, oh, I'll think about it, which we know she wouldn't do. So she walks off. As everyone's kind of figuring out what to do, Roxy says that she'll be back in a few minutes and actually makes a phone call to the Marine Center to authorize the payments that go on from Collins Industries to this Marine Center. And this is where I didn't like it. The whole fact that she authorizes and had no power to do this. In a split second, a trap goes around Roxy and Blaze and pushes Zoe out. Trapatron appears out of nowhere and then comes straight after Zoe and knocks her back. The other Rangers arrive and they morph. Nate is told to go over to the cage to try and get out Roxy and Blaze out, which, you kind of think that you would try and trap as many of the Rangers and do what Scrolls is about to do, as he teleports in and he scans them. Thus, therefore, you would want to get a Ranger, so that could happen much later on. The Rangers then start beating on Trapatron and going through him and defeating him. The Rangers are kind of fighting inside. Now, I don't know if they're fighting inside the Collins Industry or if it's Sentai footage, but it looked really, really cool. As Trapatron kind of traps Steel, Zoe, and Devon, they actually cut through using their swords or their sabers and just kind of pushing out. Fight scene does happen again, but with Zoe and Steel running through, cutting all the traps, it was perfect. It felt kind of natural, and I generally really like that. When the Rangers beat Trapatron, Ravi rushes over to Roxy and Blaze, and they actually open the cage using the gorilla's strength. they're wondering why Scrozzle scanned them, and you kind of think, well, why would he? When we come to the new cyber dimension, or this new dimension, Scrozzle downloads all the information and creates 2 new generals for Evox, which is in the shape of Roxy and Blaze, and I really like their looks. I think it looks absolutely amazing. I really like the detail to color that they've put in to kind of separate them from the originals to what the evil ones are, and I'm hoping at some point they will interact. If you think that they should, let me know down below in the comments. Roxy questions and says, hang on a minute, I remember being destroyed by the Blue Ranger. And Scrozzle says, yes, but we downloaded your memories, so therefore we'll be able to recreate you again. And they really like this. Back at the Marine Center, the Rangers are very surprised that Regina paid for everything, that the Collins industry did this, and everyone is kind of happy on this. All of a sudden, out of the blue, Regina just busts in and says, what happened? We didn't authorize this payment. Why is this going on? And the doctor actually says, well, no, someone from your company rang us and said, hey, we've got this going on. All of a sudden, they're all called over to see this new sea turtle that's just come in and it's hurt. And Regina has a change of heart straight away and says, hey, yeah, we'll pay for everything. Make sure they get the best care. We'll pay for everything, which is, again, I can understand, but we'll come up to this part. This is the reason why I didn't like it. The Rangers are called to the construction site where Tronics are attacking the workers there. As the Rangers arrive, more Tronics come out of the way, and thus therefore we see Blaze and Roxy standing there, and they're kind of like, huh? Blaze and Roxy, what are you doing here? And the Rangers kind of cotton on that it isn't actually their friends. There's actually, they think it's avatars. They say that they destroyed them, but they're back, they've got brand new colors, and a whole massive fight breaks out, and I genuinely really liked it. The fight lasted quite a bit of time, and the Rangers get to try out the weapons. So we see the Cheetah Claws, we see the Beast Ultra Blaster, and they just wipe out Blaze and Roxy quite quickly. And you kind of think, oh, is that kind of it? The Rangers then are alerted to a Gigadrone that arrives, and with this, the Rangers form the Ultra Zord, they go in and they defeat the monster quite quickly. We jump back to the cyber dimension, and Evox is angry at Scrozzle, but Scrozzle says that he's got an idea, and he downloads the data again for Roxy and Blaze, and we see that we're back. I generally really would have liked that to be at the first point where we see them, rather than like the kind of second part. Scrozzle says that if the bodies get destroyed, they'll build them new. They'll download their memories, so the memories will instantly go from the destroyed bodies straight to these new ones, so they can keep rebuilding. So effectively, they have an infinite amount of them. But this does mean one thing. I imagine at some point we'll see tons of Blazes, tons of Roxys at some point, which will be like a mini army, which I cannot wait for. If it does happen, you heard it here first. Heard it here first. That's what you heard it here first. We get a shot of Ben and Betty doing something silly. They've picked up all the trash. They've put it in there, but Ben's lost his communicator. They have to find it. They've got a bit more trash on them, and just therefore the truck drives off, and that's pretty much it for them. And it just seemed like a very pointless scene to have in there. As we come to the closing scene, we see everyone kind of looking at this turtle being put into the enclosure to swim about. Regina has this change of heart saying, hey, I'm very happy that this has gone on, but at the end of the day, it was their mistake, so they had to clean up the mess. Now, I absolutely hated this part because it felt like there was no kind of punishment. What ending that I would have liked to have seen was that Regina says, we're happy to pay for it because it was our mistake. Roxy, you had no authority to issue that, so I'm going to have to let you go. And I think that would have been kind of perfect. To me, that was the better one. But instead, it felt like there was no kind of penalty, that she could have done anything. She could have authorized a lot more money, and it would be like, oh, it's fine, don't worry, you're okay on this one. So I generally didn't like that part. I think Roxy would have learned a better lesson saying you can't do this, but have that sort of thing. That's how I generally would have put it. And when it comes to kind of a close on that one, Roxy and Blaze know that there are other versions of themselves now, so that's going to be kind of interesting. And yeah, that's it. My kind of final thoughts on this, as I said, I really wish Roxy was punished in this one, where she lost her job. The fact is that she couldn't work in that company again, and thus therefore that was it. That would have been the best punishment for this. I really liked Blaze and Roxy coming back. That to me was the better one to go for, because if they had some other generals, I think it'd be kind of weird, but I really love how sassy Roxy is. It's continuing on I absolutely like it. Blaze is kind of cool, so he's got this kind of like evilness back, so I can't wait to see what happens with them. One thing is, I would have scanned the rangers and I'd had an evil ranger come out from nowhere and have that saved up, because that would have been perfect. Maybe they scan Nate really quickly or something, but yeah, it's kind of cool. So Ranger Nation, what are your thoughts? Also, I'm trying a different tactic with the videos where I'm talking a little bit slower, see if that kind of works, if people enjoy that. If you do, let me know down below in the comments. If you like this sort of video and you want to see more, then hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And yeah, and I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.